Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to have you here. Today, we'll be exploring the Indian Contract Act of 1872. Our focus will be on understanding the difference between void and voidable contracts. We'll briefly cover what makes a contract valid or invalid and the key distinctions between these two types. So let's get started and delve into this interesting topic together. Let's talk about agreements that are inherently invalid from the start, such as those involving illegal acts like smuggling. When two parties agree to do something illegal, like in this case, the agreement is not enforceable at all. This also applies when the agreement is made with a minor. Their capacity to enter into a binding contract is limited. Essentially, such agreements have no legal effect right from the beginning. They are void and cannot be enforced by law. This means that no matter what was agreed upon, the courts will not uphold such a contract. It cannot be ratified or made valid later on. Neither party involved has any legal rights or obligations under such an agreement. There's no obligation to perform, and no party can compel the other to do anything since the contract is void from the outset. This is what we call a void contract, specifically outlined under Section 2G. Understanding this helps us see why the law refuses to recognize or enforce agreements that are against public policy or involve illegal activities. Today, I want to talk about contracts that are enforceable only at the option of one or more parties. These are known as enforceable contracts, but with a twist. They can be enforced by some parties, but not others. Essentially, a contract remains valid until the party who is aggrieved decides to void it. If the aggrieved party chooses to accept the contract, it can be ratified, which means it becomes fully binding on all parties involved. The rights and obligations under such a contract continue to exist until someone cancels or terminates it. Now, it's important to understand that certain factors can make a contract voidable. For example, if a contract is entered into through fraud, undue influence, misrepresentation, or coercion, the affected party has the right to void the contract. This concept ties into the overall theme of contract validity and the importance of ensuring that agreements are made freely, fairly, and with full understanding. Recognizing these key points helps us understand when a contract is truly enforceable and when it can be challenged or canceled. Let's take a closer look at the comparison between basic, void contracts and voidable contracts. Starting with validity, a basic contract is considered void ab initio, meaning it's invalid from the very beginning. In contrast, a voidable contract is valid until it's rescinded by the affected party. Moving on to enforceability, a basic contract is never enforceable because it lacks legal standing right from the start. On the other hand, a voidable contract is enforceable unless it's avoided or rescinded by the party with the right to do so. Now, regarding the nature of these contracts, a basic contract is essentially dead. It's null and has no legal effect. Conversely, a voidable contract is alive and can be enforced, but it's considered defective due to some legal flaw that allows one party to rescind it. When it comes to rectification, a basic contract cannot be rectified because it's invalid from the outset. However, a voidable contract can often be rectified, meaning the defect can sometimes be corrected to make it fully enforceable. Finally, looking at party rights, in a basic contract, neither party has the right to enforce or rescind because it's inherently void. But in a voidable contract, the aggrieved party has the power to rescind the contract if they choose, protecting their interests. So, in summary, understanding these differences helps us see how the law treats contracts that are either fundamentally invalid or simply defective, but still potentially enforceable.